I have spent years trying to figure out how the hell to stay in a calorie deficit. Obviously, if it were easy, a lot of us would do it and stick with it. A lot of us have the information that, hey, if you want to lose fat, be in a calorie deficit. But for whatever reason, that is not just ice cream simple for us. Especially in today's society, you can't even drive 5 miles without driving past like a fast food joint. You can't even go to a grocery store without being bombarded by all these processed, yummy, delicious things. Yes, they're yummy and delicious, unfortunately. But yeah, they're in front of your face before you can even get to the produce, right? You walk in the store and bam, it's like double stuffed Oreos. If it was easy, we would all do it. And at my big age of 30, I have finally figured out what works for me so that I can reach my fitness goals. Weight is objective to people, okay? But for those of you who may be new, I have had weight fluctuations. And when it got to a certain point for me, it came with a slew of other things that I never asked for. Anxiety, issues with my period. Being on the shorter side of things, I've noticed that even like a 10 to 15 pound weight gain for me has a very large effect on other aspects of my health. So when I was trying to cut fat, I realized that this was not as easy as I thought. After a lot of trial and error, I finally figured out, okay, these are some things that work for me. These are some things that absolutely do not work for me. And pretty much had to put everybody on the internet on mute and just do what worked for me. I think that I definitely have a soft life approach to weight loss, fat loss, or whatever you want to call it. Because one thing about me is I'm not going to be miserable when I am trying to reach a certain fitness goal or a health goal. And I need you to understand that you do not have to be miserable. You do not have to be miserable, okay? So let's talk about it. There is another video that I did that talks about the same thing, but goes more in depth on your relationship with food. Spoiler alert, none of these tips are gonna matter if your relationship with food is bad. And what do I mean with a bad relationship with food? Well, do you label food good or bad? Okay, you probably don't have the best relationship with food. Have you ever done a diet where you cut out an entire food group like carbs? You probably don't have a good relationship with food. Like, you have to understand, guys, these are all fads and gimmicks. Yes, you can cut out carbs and you will lose weight because, again, you are in a calorie deficit. Okay, it just makes it easier. So to each their own. But if you define those carbs as bad, you have a bad relationship with food, because that is not true. And there's so much unlearning you need to do. And this might be the first step for most of you, where you spend the time trying to recreate your image of food, because unfortunately, big multi-billion corporations have lied to you because they want to prey on your insecurity and they want to control where your dollars go. I am hopeful that we are living in the age of information. And this is probably why they want to ban TikTok, okay? Because we can talk like this and I can tell you, hey, I got results and I didn't cut shit out. And that's true. So I'm going to link that video as well. But this one is kind of like a step 2. After you have healed that relationship with food, I think these steps will work amazing for you. First and foremost, if you're in the 75K club, go ahead and drop a comment. Let me know if you're here on behalf of the 75K club. If you don't know what that is, that's 75,000 of my besties that choose to click in every single Monday and come watch my podcast to support me. Yes, if you like my videos and you want to support me, all I need you to do is show up every Monday right here. 8 a.m. Central Time. Yep. So thank you for joining. If you're new again, my name is Bria. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, do all the things. Just engagement is free, baby. And that's how you can support this channel. So let's get into it. All right. So I already told you the first thing you need to do is heal your relationship with food. Y'all have the worst relationship with food, and it's not even your fault. We demonize everything because that is profitable. We are scared of food in today's age. A lot of people are, and I don't blame you because I'm still working through it. It is not a perfect experience, but I will forever talk about this with you guys because look at me. We deserve to live stress-free. We deserve to eat freely. We deserve to be happy. Now, I don't track calories, okay? Every now and then I might like gauge something or look it up just to see where it's at, because you'd be surprised. Some things are insanely high or insanely low in calories. You just never know. Sometimes I do it for information, but on a day-to-day basis, I don't track calories because that is not good for me. That is not good for Bria. I cannot be trusted. Let's just say that. I can't be trusted with tracking my food because I get a little too militant with it, a little addictive, a little ED-ish. So I don't do that if I don't have to. And I've figured out how to make a calorie deficit work without it. So you can too, but it's just gonna take maybe tapping into these other tips. So the first thing that really helped me to just make some room for more nutrients and not waste my calorie bank on anything was stop drinking your calories. Now, I'm not saying go for 0-calorie drinks either. I am saying learn to like water and hydration. Okay, you probably heard this before, but for me, it's the matchas. I like to do like lavender, you know, a syrup in there. Those are usually sugary. Oat milk might be something in it. Okay, whatever. I love an iced chai. And here's the thing. I still have those things, but on a day-to-day basis, no. And some of us have a ritual of going to the coffee shop, the Starbucks, and driving through and getting a drink every single day. And I can tell you off the bat, some of those drinks are like 500 calories. You just don't know how much syrup and sugar and milk is in there. So one, it's just nice because there are other options in terms of enjoying beverages that don't maybe zap all of your calories, right? I'll name a few of my favorites. I love Olipop. You guys know that. They're like 30 calories a pop and they're good for gut health. So that's fun. I know Poppy's in a lawsuit right now. I didn't say Poppy though. So, but Poppy goes hard. I mean, I guess Poppy's being like sued for their claims of gut health. Like, y'all are weird. I'm sorry. Y'all are weird because first of all, if you really banking on a soda to heal your gut health, you got problems. Like, the person who is suing Poppy, I just want to see what their entire diet looks like. Okay, because I can guarantee you, Poppy is not the biggest problem on the market. So that is crazy to me. But yeah, I like Poppy. I like Olipop, but I'm also not expecting it to heal my gut. I just like a little flavor and they're not overly crazy in the calorie department. Now, I also love a good Coke Zero, a crispy Coke, as I call it. Love that. Pour me one of those over some ice, please. Yeah, we like the Coke Zero. And also water. Why are you guys so afraid of water? What happened to you? Drink some water. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't like the taste of water. Grow up. You are a human. Your body literally functions on water. I don't care what you have to do. You need to drink water. And we shouldn't be having this conversation. And I'm not going to hold your hand. Do it. Do it because you owe it to yourself to drink some water. Nothing cute about being dehydrated and having crusty lips. Drink some water for me, baby. Green tea, oh my God, stop. I love green tea. I love all herbal teas, to be honest with you. And if you kind of make that a little ritual in the morning and the night, you'll really start to grow into it. But green tea is one of my favorites. I like a turmeric ginger tea. Dandelion root is good too. Like, there's so many teas that I just really love, and they're usually a part of my ritual. Like, green tea is my morning caffeine lately. I'll double bag that shit because you know what? I'm tired. I'm a tired little girl. If your goal is to be in a calorie deficit, we want you to feel energized and fueled. So we need to prioritize you eating nutritional food. We're gonna fill your plate. We're not gonna be hungry bitches. One thing about Bestie B is she's never gone hungry. No. So I don't want you to have the scarcity mindset that like you're not gonna get enough. You are gonna get enough. It's just gonna take a little bit of creativity and changing your perspective on how you go about things, okay? Cook at home. Cook at home, please. There's really no reason for you to go out to eat all the time. Going out once or twice a week, fine. But to be honest with you, if you're trying to stay in a deficit, this is the time you don't want to make going out to eat your personality. And I'm preaching to the choir because I don't even think I like going out to eat. I like the idea of someone cooking something for me, or like the experience of sitting down, like talking to some friends, like being on a patio. Like, I like the experience of chips and salsa. Yeah, I could have chips and salsa at home, but it's not the same unless I go to the cantina and hear the nice mariachi music in the background. You know, like, I want the experience. And I think that's what my brain is attached to. So my issue personally, like out of all the things I'm telling you, is going out to eat. Because one, I don't like to cook. I don't like cooking. AJ is the chef of the house for good reason. And I don't know, I just love a good experience. So my advice to you is to make going out more of a special occasion type of thing. When I'm in a calorie deficit, AJ and I will actually go out to eat every Friday because I don't believe in restricting. When you take something away, you will rebound in a much worse way. So can you compromise with yourself? Compromising with yourself while trying to stay in a calorie deficit is key, because anytime you go hot or cold when you're trying to make a decision, you'll always go the other direction. If you say, oh my God, I can't have any sugar, no way, I'm not gonna do that, I gotta be Bella Hadid. Like in about 3 or 4 weeks, maybe 6, you're going to rebound and go apeshit on any double stuffed Oreo that crosses your path. So let's just set ourselves up for success and compromise. I don't ever think it's necessary for you to tell yourself you cannot have something. Unless you're walking the carpet at the Met Gala, then I'll shut up. Girl, maybe put the double stuffed Oreo down, but none of us are. So it was never really that deep, right? So what else can we do? Besides cooking at home, which is gonna be great for you, one, you can control the ingredients when you cook at home. When you go out to eat, this is the thing you have to understand. You can even get like the cleanest or leanest thing on the menu, but what you have to remember is the goal of a restaurant is to get a profit, okay? So what does that mean? They're going to put things in the food to make you love it, to make you crave it. So even if it was something that's considered lighter, it's gonna be doused in oils and butters. And those are the things that make everything taste fucking delicious, right? So it's just hard to, I guess, police those things when you're not the one in the kitchen seeing what's going into your food. That's why we wanna save those moments for special occasions, but we're not going to take those moments away. Hear me loud and clear. We're just going to be strategic about when we choose to do that. If you know your friend has a birthday dinner coming up, okay, cool. Then 6 days out of the week, we're sticking to the script. We're cooking at home. We have our meals planned. We've meal prepped, or whatever you want to do. We have already made our plan for the week, and we're looking forward to that birthday dinner where you can just kind of take your hat off and have some fun. The next thing we're going to talk about is building what I like to call a happy plate. And this is coming directly from a nutritionist that I paid a lot of money to work with. So you're welcome. You're going to get it for free. But it's crazy because I started working with a nutritionist when I was like 27 or 28. I can't remember. At that age, I didn't know what a balanced plate looks like. I did not have the concept of that. I just kind of put whatever I felt like putting on my plate. But when you have a plate, it should have a little bit of these things. So really easy thing to remember is when you have a plate, you're gonna go ahead and draw a line down the half of that plate in your mind, and you're gonna fill half your plate with vegetables. Yes, half of your plate is vegetables, okay? You need fiber, you need micro and macronutrients. Vegetables, I can guarantee you we're all just like under eating vegetables. And filling your plate with half vegetables is not as crazy as it sounds. Once you start doing it, you'll understand that it's just like, it's not that hard. And you have to find the veggies you like. I love a shaved Brussels sprout. I love cauliflower, broccoli, carrots, rainbow carrots specifically. Season your vegetables for sake, okay? You don't have to be miserable, guys. You don't have to eat like a plain broccoli. If you're gonna eat a plain broccoli, you might as well go outside and pick some grass and just shove that in your mouth. Season your food. Have a little fun with this, okay, guys? We don't have to suffer. Like, who put this in our heads, right? So now 1/4 of your plate is going to be protein. Another nice gauge of that is like, it should be the palm of your hand. A protein should be about the size of the palm of your hand. And then the rest is going to be carbs. Carbs. Yes, carbs. Maybe for you, that is white rice, brown rice, pasta, quinoa, like whatever your carb of choice is, about 1/4 of the plate. And then it's key to remember that you want to have fats included. So if you don't cook with like butter and oil, which I do, you can always do a little separate kind of fat involvement. But I cook my food in oils and butters. I'm mindful about how much I put. So that counts as my fat. Yeah, girl. And then maybe like add something fun afterwards, because why not? Yeah, so I'll do like a little cookie afterwards, like whatever. But I want to make sure that all my cravings are checked off and that my plate has everything I need to feel full, sustained, and healthy. The thing is, gals and guys, when you have all of those boxes checked, you're gonna feel satisfied. This is what we want. This is important to you staying in a calorie deficit, because when you don't check all those boxes, when you're cutting the carbs, you're gonna be a little ravenous, okay? I don't wanna hurt anyone's feelings here, but I don't quite understand the keto thing, and it's not gonna be me ever. I saw someone cooking a stick of butter on TikTok and they were like, well, it doesn't have carbs. You know what? Maybe some things just like aren't good. And I'm not saying all keto people are like this, so don't yell at me, but I am saying you've lost your damn mind. If you think that a cup of rice versus a stick of butter, it's just, I'm sorry, no. And then this is why, like, you know, later on, these people are going to go crazy on carbs. There was this girl, do y'all remember Janelle on TikTok, the keto girl? It was like, is it bussin'? Remember the is it bussin' girl? She doesn't do keto anymore because she said she educated herself. I wonder, everybody go message Janelle, ask her what happened, because I would love to know, but I'm also like proud of her. She built an entire platform on keto, millions of views, and she ended up backtracking. I respect that. That's hard to do after you've built an audience on one thing and then you get to a point where you're like, wow, this is not serving my body anymore. And especially for my women who are watching, we have to fuel our bodies a certain way. So these fad diets do not serve us in the long term, and we have to be very careful and cyclical. If you are going to do those things, you also should maybe look at where you're at in your cycle. Like, I certainly would not be cutting carbs the week before my period, or I might hurt somebody. That's why you listen to your body. Now we know how to build a happy plate, and then what you're going to do when you finish that meal or before you have that meal is have a nice big cup of water, a liter. It sounds crazy, but you know those big mason jars? That's just like one big mason jar, and you can gulp that down so easy. I'm telling you, don't sweat it. Kind of piggybacking off the water thing, water before a meal is game changer. I don't know who said this, but I did hear it somewhere that sometimes hunger can be mistaken for dehydration. And I think this is very true. And at least for me, I have really tried to focus on hydration. And with that, I've noticed, one, even I don't think about food as much, but two, I really do get full faster. Of course, you're going to eat more when you're dehydrated. If you're ever kind of like, am I bored? Am I hungry? Or what's going on? If you're trying to really figure out, is this a hunger pain or not? Have some water, wait 5 minutes. And if you're still hungry, eat. But it's all about learning to listen to your body and your hunger cues. And if you go back to that other video that I was referencing in the beginning, hunger cues are something that you have to build a relationship with again, especially if you've ever tracked your food, if you were ever bulking or something where you had to exceed the amount of calories that your body wanted, if you have ever binge ate, if you have even had the munchies, like you have in somewhat way, which a lot of us have, trained ourselves to not listen to our hunger cues. Maybe you had a parent who was like, you're not getting up from the table until that plate is clean. So you have trained yourself to just clean your plate versus listening to when your body's full. That is totally fine, but you just have to recognize that these are the things standing in your way of achieving a calorie deficit, right? You have to learn to hear that cue. Okay. And so something that, and this is actually one of the next points, is that you have to learn to be okay with not clearing your plate. And this is going to be really hard because I know some of us who may have come from homes where we didn't have a lot of money or food. It's like, it's unimaginable to waste food, but I don't want you to look at it as wasting food. You can package up anything. If that makes you feel better, you can put it in the fridge. You can put it in a to-go box. You can always take something home and save it for later. Okay. That used to kind of be what made me feel better in the beginning, because I felt very shameful for not finishing my plate when I started to really get serious about the calorie deficit thing and building a relationship with my hunger cues again. But also give yourself grace and understand that portion sizes these days are insane. You know, after I went to Europe and saw like a portion size in Europe, I was like, wow, I would give this to like a baby. So it was eye-opening for me because I would eat that portion size though, and I would feel very satisfied. It's kind of like you will eat what you put in front of yourself. So why not start with a smaller portion if you're afraid of wasting food, and you can always get more, but you don't have to fill your plate up and then be upset that you can't finish it and try to shove it down. When you go out to eat, half your food and ask for a to-go box. You have a meal for tomorrow. If someone else, I don't like other people making my plate. I'm gonna be honest with you. When I go to my mama's house, she over here slapping everything on. Nope, stop, give me my plate, I'll make it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to just control the portion sizes yourself so that way you don't waste the food, okay? Just rethinking things. Now let's talk about going out on the weekends, because this can be a make or break situation for some people. For me, going out on the weekends was kind of that break situation because, like I said, a calorie deficit for me is not fun. Because I'm 5'3". You don't get a whole lot of wiggle room. So going out on Saturday and Sunday would pretty much put me out of a calorie deficit. And I would be like, oh, well, the scale's still not moving. I would be frustrated because I want to have a social life. I want to still do things, but I also want to hit my goals. It's very frustrating to do. Some people have a little more wiggle room, but we're all different. I'm going to come from the lens of the fact that I didn't have a lot of wiggle room. And also, I don't want to heavily restrict Monday through Friday. So I want to be able to max out on as many calories as I want. And like I said, have a soft life approach to this, because I don't want to track. So here's the thing. When you go out to eat or when you go out with friends, right? I don't know. Some of us might be drinking, which is totally fine. And I'm not telling you to stop drinking, but I am telling you that it's an easy way to give yourself some wiggle room. Okay. Is the vodka cran really worth it? The thing about drinking isn't so much about the calories. It's about what happens after the drinking. So you're gonna go have, let's say, 3 tequila sodas. Okay, let's say they're each 150. So now you're pushing about 450 calories. And what do they say? Eating like 500 calories less is already a deficit. So do you see how quickly that can happen? And I don't want anyone to feel like I'm shaming them by saying this, because for me, when I learned this information, it just helped me realize how easy it is to accidentally go over. And this is why calorie deficits are not for the weak. They're just a little bit harder sometimes, and that's okay. You're not alone in that. So instead, can you maybe sub that for a diet drink or a water? I know it's kind of boring, but calorie deficits are not forever, and you have to tell yourself that when you want to hit your goals. It's all about compromise. Or maybe you have one drink, but like I was saying, it's not so much about the numbers, it's about what happens after you drink. This is why I cannot go out anymore, because I will have several drinks, I'll come home and I'll need Taco Bell. Yes, need, not a want. Okay, now I need a Crunchwrap Supreme. Okay, and I probably want the cinnamon crunchy thingies too. All right, well, that's easily 500 calories. So now I've had 3 tequila sodas at 450, and now I've had a Crunchwrap Supreme at like 500. Yeah, we're definitely over. You know what I'm saying? And if you do that twice a week, then you've already kind of messed up there. Again, this is not to dissect your habits and tell you to not be social. This is just to tell you, when you do go out in situations, decide if it's worth it for you. And here's another thing that I would suggest. Maybe going out and drinking isn't the best kind of activity to socialize with your friends. Can you come up with another activity that's fun and still fills your social cup? Can you guys do brunch maybe? And I just don't feel as pressured at brunch to be like a party girl. It is daytime hours, children are out, we need to calm down, right? So this is where I feel a lot better just taking it easy. Probably not gonna order a drink, probably just gonna have a light bite, call it a day. I get to see the girls, like we're having fun. Maybe I'm having my friends over and I'm cooking. So now we're checking a lot of boxes, baby. I'm controlling the meal and I'm seeing my girls. We're having fun. I'll even have drinks for y'all. I don't have to participate, but you know what I'm saying? We can make things work. It just takes a little initiative. It takes a little creativity. My point with this entire point is, again, not to make you feel like you shouldn't do any of those things, because if you can make it work, you absolutely should. But my point is definitely to push you and encourage you to think outside the box and think about how you can fill your social cup in other ways that also benefit your health. Can you guys go on a group walk together? Can you do a workout class together? There's so many things that will be better for you and also have you showing up better throughout the week. For me, when I would drink, I would get anxiety like the next 3 days, and I would have a hangover for the next 2. And then I'm making poor choices because because I feel like shit. So it just isn't worth one night for me anymore. I sound so old, but it's just not worth it. And that's why I've been mostly sober these days. Now, for my girls who love the devil's lettuce, I'm gonna have to be real with you for a second. You gotta stop smoking that gas. That's hard. I know. If that's part of your nightcap, if you're a garden gummy girl, I understand. But you have to, because those munchies are taking you out. You want to be in a calorie deficit, but you also high as fuck. So it's really a game of give and take, you know, and I'll be the first to tell you, I went through a phase where I was a garden gummy girl. Baby, I can out eat like 2 football players when I am on a garden gummy. It's not normal. It's scary. I can't feel anything. So yeah, I will say I am creative when I take my garden gummy. I can take anything in your kitchen and make it Oscar worthy. Like, I have impressed myself because when I'm completely sober, I have no creativity in the kitchen. But when I have the munchies, I can come up with something that would honestly be approved by Gordon Ramsay. Like, I don't know how I do it. And I haven't been a smoker or a garden gummier in a while, years to be transparent. But back in my day, AJ would be like, wow, how did you do that? Like, it was the only time he would see like my cooking skills. I don't know. It was so creative. Everybody's so creative. So you're gonna have to stop that. Sorry. What successful calorie deficits come down to is consistency. And consistency is not 100% accuracy. Consistency is more than 50% though. You know what I'm saying? We have to look at the overall picture. And I think something that will help you is looking at your deficit at a weekly goal rather than a daily goal. You'll be a lot less drained. If I know that I'm gonna have like a party or an event that I have to go to, I'm already just gonna block out more for those days and then kind of bank on being a little more rigid and stick to the script the other days. Plan ahead, and at the same time, prepare for your weaker moments. So if you're craving a chocolate shake or whatever, why don't you go ahead and have some things on deck that can help the cravings that you know you'll probably have. If you know you're gonna wanna go out to eat, if you know you're gonna wanna grab this or grab that, preparation is a huge part of the success. When I have my fridge full of fruits, or if I have a refrigerator full of things that I know are just like better options for me to help me stay on track, I 9 times out of 10 will go with that. But if I don't have the preparation or the options, you're damn right, I'm gonna go mess up and I'm gonna go get the thing that I really want that's gonna put me out of the deficit. The thing is, you're gonna just wanna look ahead a lot more. Have some things around your house that you know you love, that you know are indulgent and fun, and you can still have them, but they're just gonna be better than going to McDonald's or Chick-fil-A or In-N-Out. Like, having something at home is always gonna be a better option, I'm telling you. But like I said, if you are just not prepared for those moments, it's gonna continually be a cycle of like not moving, not making progress, and just that frustration, when a little more preparation can make such a difference. For me, that means every week I'm sitting down and I am planning my grocery list. This week we're traveling for a brand trip, so I already know I'm about to fuck it up, and that's okay because I've allotted myself the room to be able to live life. I don't have to be rigid. And when you're at home and you're just being on top of what's going in your mouth and having more say over that when you are home, it doesn't matter when you travel. You're gonna be fine when you travel, because travel is not forever. So y'all gotta stop stressing over things that don't matter and just live your life and have fun, because we don't need to be in this state of fear and scarcity. Also, on the spiritual girly note, that's a low vibe energy, right? And I can't reiterate it enough. Go back to the other video, listen to what I said about healing your relationship with food, because these are more like granular tips for after you've been able to do that. I feel like with your relationship with food, you'll keep going back and forth and starting the cycle over just because you haven't gotten to the root of your behaviors because you haven't healed that relationship. And that's what needs to be solved first, honestly. So anyways, prepare, give yourself options, have fun, live your life, and just cook at home more, guys. We're gonna have fun, and we're also gonna reach our fitness goals. And I feel like it's important for me to talk about these things because there's so many people out there who are selling you this whole thing about just like being miserable and damn near giving girls eating disorders from it. And I know because I was one of them, and I hate to like say that, but that's why this stuff is so important to me, and you guys have been asking for more of this content. So I'm only doing what works for me. Again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist, but these are things that I have learned from my doctor's nutritionist and just trial and error. But again, everyone's so different, and I would love to know what tips or tricks you guys have to be able to have a soft life approach to reaching your fitness goals. If you have anything that works, leave it in the comments. And if you like this video, don't forget to actually like it, follow the podcast, follow this channel, and share it if you love it. Let me know what other topics you guys want to talk about when it comes to wellness and health. I feel like this has been our like cup of tea lately, which I'm not even mad at because I could talk about this stuff for hours. But let me know what you guys want to talk about. And as per usual, I'll see you on Monday.